Hello and welcome. I am Cy Rodriguez, and somebody wants to know how to feel better about themselves. So, how do you feel better about yourself? Now you know the question, since I've made that really obvious. And the first thing that you need to do if you want to feel better about yourself is you need to find somebody who has less than you and who you feel is in a worse situation than you, and then just focus on how they are, and then think to yourself, I'm better than this person. Okay, so in case it's not obvious, I really don't mean that, and that's not what you need to do to feel better about yourself. But one thing you can do is start to have a sense of humor about your pain, and that's just one thing. So start off by just thinking about your situation, see it from an observer perspective. Look at it, accept it. Don't even judge the fact that you feel bad about yourself. Just allow yourself to feel it and see it. And see if there's anything funny about it. I mean, just to give an example, sometimes things happen to people in a series and it just seems like some joke's being played on you. You know what I mean? And so try to see it from that perspective as if some joke is being played on you, and let yourself to laugh at it. So the first thing you can do is try to have a sense of humor about it. The next thing you can do is take a step out of your situation, take a step back from it, and literally meditate without thinking about your problems. Just allow yourself to breathe. Close your eyes if that helps. I like to close my eyes and stand up straight and just let myself to relax, let my body move how it wants to move, and breathe. Breathe really deep all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And let yourself to breathe out. And don't try to push your thoughts away, but just let them go and see them. And for a lot of people may know about this, but this is a meditation technique. It's just observing without judgment. And so a lot of times that's going to help make you feel better, because you're just going to get out of the middle of it and you can see it from an outside perspective. So what else can you do to help yourself to feel better? Okay, so I was reading from somebody, they were feeling really depressed. There's all of these things that they had happen to them. Their sons and daughters don't want to be around them anymore. They have been falling down a lot. Other things as well. Just thinking about all the different things. Nobody's calling them to speak with them. They're getting older. Their appearance isn't as good as it used to be. They don't have a relationship with any significant other. And they're very depressed. And it's understandable. And coming from the perspective of having a lot of this in my life, I don't want to be a judge of a person who feels this way. But I do want to express the fact that there are a lot of things in my own life that I could be depressed and upset about. I'm married with children. I live with my mom. That right there is enough to depress most people, not because I don't like my mom, but because I'm in my mom's space and I need to be in my own space. I'm dependent on my mom for rent right now, and it's just a long series of things that have kind of put me in this situation. But you know what? I still can feel good about myself, and I do feel good about myself. And this situation has especially taught me how to feel good about myself, because a lot of stress and strong emotions came on me from being in this kind of situation, and I started to call myself a loser, wonder how I ever got in this position, and there was just this voice talking to me telling me how bad I was and telling me about all my problems. And then some of those problems, those things that I was thinking about myself or that my inside voice was telling me, were being told to me from people on the outside. And I just really felt like, oh my gosh, I'm really a horrible person. I'm a failure. So what I had to do was remember that I haven't always felt this way, first of all. Second of all, I could think about what it is that's valuable about me and what I'm doing. And what I started to realize is, okay, there are a lot of good things about me, but you know what matters even more? Is that it doesn't matter if there are a lot of good things about me to start with. Because where I have to start is to just love myself unconditionally. And you've heard the golden rule, I'm sure. Love your neighbor as yourself, or love your neighbor, love one another, this kind of thing. But it does say, love your neighbor as yourself. So you need to love yourself. And in order for you to love somebody else, you're definitely going to have to start with yourself. So is this narcissistic? Is this sociopathic? Not at all. And it really doesn't matter if it is. What matters more is what your actions are. So let's say you have a reason to feel bad about yourself. Maybe you have a guilty conscience, which is fine because your conscience is there for a reason. Your conscience is there to tell you when you've done something that violates what you believe. And maybe the guilt was put there by somebody else. Maybe you don't even really believe that what you did was wrong. But chances are pretty good that on some level you believe it. And so what you can do is you can take this thought and really just look at it and see it for what it is, and see if it is really something that has violated your own conscience, or if it's making you feel guilty because of what somebody else believes that you don't agree with. If you don't agree with it, then just let it go completely. But if you realize that on some level, at any level at all, that it violates your own conscience, what you feel guilty about, then you have to make amends for those things. And the best thing you can do is just to ask God to forgive you, first of all. And that's the best place to start. And God always forgives. So no matter what you've done, God's going to forgive you. Now, if your conscience... Okay, hold on. So God always forgives you, but that doesn't mean there's not consequences. Maybe you did something very serious, and that is having an effect on somebody else's life that's negative. So how do you deal with this kind of a guilty conscience? One thing you can do is go and say, I'm sorry to this person, or apologize to them. And you don't even have to directly apologize. You can ask them, have I ever done anything that's hurt you? And if they tell you yes, then you can tell them, hey, I'm so sorry, and I just want you to know that I love you and I care about you, and please forgive me. And then you can ask them what you did if you want to, which is probably a good thing, because it's important to face who we are in our lives and what we've been and what we've done. And everybody has done things that are not good things to do. So that's why Jesus is so important, because Jesus is a connection for people who are sinners to God. And a sinner is nothing more than a person who just violates their own conscience, really, because God speaks to us through our conscience. And sinning is really something that takes away from our happiness. It's not like, oh, you're a bad person, you did this thing over here. No. Things that we do that take away from our happiness are things, that's what sin is. Things that kill our physical body or that dull our mind, that is sin, because it's taking away from our consciousness and our happiness and our joy. So realize that you have Jesus, and you can ask Jesus to help you and come into your heart, and believe and have faith that Jesus will come there, and that is going to help you to be forgiven, and you'll also have a better time forgiving yourself. And then from there, you can start building, because this is the next step of how to feel better. How do you feel better about yourself? How do I feel better about myself? Well, I have to give myself reasons to feel better about myself. First one is just that I am a person, And you know what? I deserve to be loved just as much as the next person. And that goes back to I need to love myself in spite of all my flaws, in spite of all of the things about myself that I just may not like. So just do that over and over. Remind yourself that this voice that wants to murder you, that wants to tell you you're bad, that wants to kill you, that wants to destroy you or make you destroy yourself, just don't believe in that voice. Believe in the voice that tells you that you have hope. The voice that's telling you that you have another chance. A voice that even tells you that you can renew yourself, because you can renew yourself. No matter how old you are, no matter what you've done in your life, you can renew yourself to a degree. And to what degree you can renew yourself probably depends on to what degree that you have let yourself to become in a position where you are hurt or where you have in some way been crippled mentally, physically, by disease, dis-ease, by your own psychology, by the psychology of others, by just becoming a lonely person and not reaching out for the hope that is out there for you. So, you need to do things to make yourself feel better. For example, if you feel like you don't have enough love, then go give love. And you don't have to do it with the people who reject you, but it would be a good place to start if they're your family members. So go out to your son or your daughter, to your friend or family member that you feel like doesn't love you. And don't worry about if they love you anymore. Give yourself a reason to feel good and give them some love in any way you can think of. I mean, you could go buy them a gift, or you could just go and ask them how they're doing and be sincere. Really look into their eyes and want to know what's going on with them, and spend some time focusing on them and what's going on with them. And it might not be easy at first, but as you go do this sort of thing, it's going to become a lot easier for you to do. So go and do that. Go and help somebody. And if you don't want to do it with somebody you know already, then do it for somebody else that you know, or anybody. Just be kind to somebody. Go smile at somebody for no reason, and don't care about what their response is. In fact, it's better if you don't care about yourself, the response that they have. And I want to go ahead and transition from doing something nice for somebody else into doing something crazy. Do something crazy, but not so crazy that it's going to make you feel bad about yourself, in the sense that it's going to cause irreversible damage in your life. Like, I don't know, I don't even want to say the worst thing you could do. Just don't go do the worst thing you could do. But do something that makes you uncomfortable. Do something that makes people look at you and think you're strange. And laugh about it. Smile about it. Realize you did it to get out of your comfort zone, because that is part of feeling better about yourself. You have to get out of your comfort zone and step into a place where you are exposing your vulnerability and allowing yourself to not care what the consequences are. What I like to do, for example, lately, and just one of the things that I have done recently, is to sing in public around people. And I don't sing obnoxiously, but if I'm singing, I see somebody, I'll keep singing on some level so that I can overcome my fear of what is this person going to think about me. Because a lot of times when we're depressed or upset, it's because we're worried about what other people think about us. So don't worry anymore. Just go out and love yourself, give to other people, ask for forgiveness, and make yourself a little bit uncomfortable. And that's a good place to start. So maybe I'll make another video about this if you like this video. So let me know if this is something that helped you. And I could say a lot more about this subject, because it's something that I actively work on all the time. And I have lots of reasons that I could feel bad about myself. But in spite of all of those things, I still love me. This, whoever I am. When I look in the mirror and I see myself, I say, I love you. because I do. And I'm going to go ahead and leave you with that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.